Hello, this is Elaine Sugar, award-winning children's program facilitator and overall supporter of children's dreams. Welcome to the Empower Teen Self-Esteem podcast. We bring you ideas and resources that help teens shine and help ease parents' minds. I want to welcome everyone to this episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Today, we are going to be talking about the importance of communication. We're going to talk about the fact that if we don't have good communication skills in our teens, they can run into issues with stress, depression, self-consciousness. We have someone who speaks to people all around the world about this topic. She's coming to us today from India. Toolika Rani is here with us. So welcome, Tulika. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me here. It is my pleasure to be talking to you on this very important topic. It's absolutely my pleasure. Namaste from India.
Oh, namaste. So I've already told you this, but I want to make sure that our viewers are checking this out. You have this beautiful print on, which is just vibrating on the screen. So it's your beautiful smile, but I just love that fabric. That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. In India, we have a lot of diversity in terms of textiles. So it
Yes.
is, again, one of the ethnic prints. So that's what the beauty
Wonderful.
of the textiles in India.
Yes, yes. So our teens get a view into India today, which is the wonderful thing about having a platform where you can speak to people from around the world. It gives you a chance to get exposed to different cultures, and I love that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so why don't you tell them a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I have been into Indian Air Force. So I served there from 2005 to 15. And while I was serving in Air Force, I also got an opportunity to join adventure sports. And specifically, I started with river rafting, and later on, I did my mountaineering courses. And it just happened that Indian Air Force had planned to send its women officers to Mount Everest expedition, and then I volunteered for it. So we
Wow.
trained, thank you. We trained for it for 2 years and went on to attempt Mount Everest. In the first expedition, I was not able to make it to the top. And herein comes the need to take our failures in a positive manner, which I was able to do at that particular time. I did my second attempt in 2012 and was able to climb Mount Everest successfully. Though it was very eventful, in all these attempts, in all these expeditions, there were a lot of times when I felt that perhaps this is the end of it.
Yeah.
But the beauty of life is that it is never the end. Till the time we are breathing, it is never the end. And that's what I have learned through various failures of mine. They have led me to certain achievements and a lot of insights into life. Plus, after retiring from Indian Air Force in 2015, I have ventured into writing. Though writing and public speaking are two hobbies of mine or passions, I would say inherent talents of mine that I have since childhood. But now I'm doing it on a more professional level because I do
Okay.
feel that communication is very important. As you started rightly when you began this episode, communication is something that not only empowers us, but also empowers somebody who's listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings, we have this innate urge to communicate. Because when we started right in the caves in the beginning,
Hmm.
and when we did not invent language till then, we also communicated through paintings, making paintings and sketches on the rock. That means we have this innate urge to communicate. And that is why I have now taken up public speaking and have spoken around 100 talks as well as interviews on various platforms. That includes TEDx, Toastmasters, Rotary International, and YouTube channels like yours now today. So that is what I have been doing.
Wonderful. You have been a busy lady. So, first, for some of our teens out there who may not be familiar with what Mount Everest is, because I want them to understand what a big deal it is that you climbed that mountain. So, you were telling us that you were in the Indian Air Force, right? And they gave you the opportunity to go on this expedition. Why is it a big deal to say that you climbed Mount Everest? What is Mount Everest, and why is that a major accomplishment?
See, we have all read in our geography books that the highest geographical feature on Earth is Mount Everest. Due
Mhm.
to its altitude, it stands as the highest point on Earth. And why it is important, or I would not say it is a big deal, but I would say that it has a lot of significance in our lives because Mount Everest for me does not symbolize only a mountain, the highest one, but it symbolizes the highest aspirations that we can have in this life.
Hmm.
So, anything in your respective fields that seems like too big, too huge, too mammoth a task, that is your Mount Everest. Because
Wonderful.
because what happens on Everest is there is a zone called death zone.
The
So Mount
death
Everest,
zone.
yes, the altitude of Mount Everest is a little higher than 29,000 feet, and at that particular altitude, human bodies are not meant to survive. So, why, when we see anybody who has climbed Mount Everest, a respect comes because that person has crossed the physical boundaries. And crossing the physical boundaries only comes when you have that mental toughness to do so. So, that is why we give this kind of a respect to somebody who has climbed mountains of such altitude.
That is fantastic. I have heard the explanation before myself, but I don't recall having heard it and it being described so well. So, to my young people out there, what she's telling you is there's a point called the death zone, and your body, under normal circumstances, is not able to survive and live in that area of the world. And because she worked on her mindset, her mental part of her body and her physical, but it's her mental, it's her brain power that got her through that, because your body is not made to go through it. So she had to train her mind, and that's that mental toughness. So when you hear that somebody climbed Mount Everest, now you can put that in perspective and you understand that they made it through the death zone. So thank you so much for that. And you made a lot of good points, especially that whatever battle you're facing, whatever difficulty you're having, whether it's, passing the exam so you go to the next grade, or you're having difficulty with some friends, or, you know, hard times communicating with your parents, that could be your Mount Everest. And she's just saying, just think about it and work on getting your mindset right, and you can make it. So I love that. Yes.
See, what happens is that most of the times we remain in our comfort zones. So, as I told you, that death zone on Mount Everest starts from 26,000 feet
Mhm.
and it continues till the top of more than 29,000 feet. So, those 3,000 feet of the last are the death zone, which make you go absolutely out of your comfort zone. So, whatever we are doing in our lives, it might be an sprint, it might be a marathon, it might be making a painting and giving it the final touches, it
Mhm.
might be writing a book and again editing it repeatedly to make it that final print, or it might be, as you rightly said, communicating with our parents about something which we feel strongly about, or taking a decision in our life which puts us again out of our comfort zones. So that step forward we may have to take, and only if we can take that step forward and survive in death zone of ours in respective fields, we can make it to the end. Otherwise,
Yes.
many people start working on a project or working on a dream but leave it midway because till the time they are within their comfort zones, it is fine. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment they enter that threshold of the death zone, then they flitter somewhere away, and then they hesitate to take that one step forward because of the uncertainty, because of the risk and the danger associated with it. The
Mm.
fear of failure also sometimes stops us from moving ahead into that uncomfortable zone. But only when we have
Hmm.
mastered that, only when we have overcame that phase, the last part of the climb, we can make it to the end successfully.
Yeah, so remember that, young people. It's about that determination and you keep moving. Be determined. So, what are some other important things that you think our teens and or our parents should think about as far as communication?
I would say that when I was growing up, there were a lot of questions running in my mind. And I suppose that this is the truth for everybody who is
Mhm.
going through this phase, very beautiful but very tumultuous phase of being a teenager.
Mhm.
Because what happens is that, first of all, we experience an identity crisis. Now, we are no longer a kid, but we are not even adults.
Mhm.
Even if we have turned 18, people sometimes do continue treating us as if we do not know anything.
Mhm.
So when we grow further, perhaps at 40 or 50, we also look at people of 18 as if you have to learn a lot yet. But when we are 18 or 19 or 17 for that matter, they think that we have enough experience, we have an idea of our life,
Mhm.
and we have a right to be respected.
Mhm.
So here comes in the role of communication between parents and children,
Mhm.
because parents will have to now understand that their children are growing up. They are in a very different phase of transition where their self esteem and their sense of awareness is heightened.
Mhm.
So there are physical changes happening, but by side, there are also emotional and psychological changes happening. And the treatment towards our children needs to change now. We need to respect their opinion, even if we are
Mhm.
giving them some advice. We need to tell them the logic behind it,
Yeah.
and do not shut them up directly, saying that since we are elder to you, we are saying something, you got to listen to it and follow.
Mhm.
That does not happen this way with children of this age.
It surely does not. I love that you said explain to them the logic. Don't just say, well, I'm the adult, so listen to me. Actually educate them. And I really like that point that you made.
Yes, actually, we have to become friends with our children who are in teenage. Obviously, the kids also, we have to become their friends. But as far as I remember, see, there are questions about relationships. There are questions about the changes happening in our body. Then
Mhm.
there are questions about our career and a lot of other things that we observe all around as to what is happening. And if there is nobody to talk to and clarify those doubts, I suppose we go into wrong conclusions.
Yes.
Uh, because who would you talk to? We feel most comfortable with our friends, but the
Mhm.
friends also are in the same age zone. So
Yes.
they also do not know any better than us. So they are not the right people to educate us about a certain things. So
Mhm.
who shall be our educator? Either parents can do that, or the counselors, the professional
Mhm.
counselors can do that, or people like you who have this content about mental health, who have content about the teens. Now this is an authentic platform because you are bringing authentic people on your channel, so they can see these kind of educative programs and have their answers for the questions that they want to be clarified. So this
Yes.
communication is very important. Communication can be in any form, either through the digital platform, or through a book, or through writing, or through parents sitting with their children and discussing a particular thing. Now, I remember that somebody gave me a book when I was a teenager,
Mhm.
and I used to have this conflicting idea, very searching questions on relationship of an individual with the society. Because generally what happens is that society glorifies a certain things. There
Mhm.
are set norms in the society. The gender norms are there. the norms of conduct are there. So there is one thing called sacrifice, and
Mm.
this word sacrifice is really glorified in our society. But when I observed around, I found that people take any action based on their self interest.
Mm-hmm.
If it is benefiting them, they would do it. If it does not benefit them in any matter, they would not do it, despite whatever. So, when and how this term sacrifice comes in picture. So, I had this very questioning kind of an attitude as to what level an individual has a place in the society. Are are we the units of society merely, or are
Mm.
we the ones who can bring a change, positive change in the society? To what extent do we have the freedom to bring a change or the power to bring a change? To what extent shall we follow the set norms? And when is the line when we as individuals in our thinking capacity can cross those lines? So these kind of questions I had. And what happened was that somebody gifted me a book by Ayn Rand. The name was We the People.
Hmm.
And when I read this book, it really put a lot of things in perspective for me. And I was a lot calmer after that. I got many answers to my questions, especially about the relationship of an individual with the society. Thereafter, I read almost all of the books written by her, and she has been one of my favorite authors. So, this communication in the form of a printed book became my friend and my
Hmm.
guide at that particular moment. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what's some of the things that stood out for you in that book that explained the relationship that you have with society?
You see, I read after that The Fountainhead as well as The Atlas Shrugged alongside We the People. And I found out that there are human beings who are exceptional. So, people who would not perhaps follow all the conventions and do something unconventional in this world, but they are the people who are going to bring real progress. Because till the time we keep on doing what has already been done,
Wow.
what difference we can bring? We cannot bring any new thing if we
Mm-hmm.
keep on following the already set conventions. And also, I learned that society is benefited immensely by such people. There might be opposition and a lack of understanding in the beginning. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to do something unconventional, see, I wanted to join Indian Air Force, and going into armed forces, perhaps in any country, would not be a very conventional career for women.
Mm-hmm.
But when I felt that my heart is towards this, and I had this kind of a personality, and this particular career of armed forces suits my personality,
Mm-hmm.
I chose to do this. So even if in the beginning some people did not understand my decision, it was
Wow.
all right. It was all right at that time. I persisted and I proved my point. And
Mm-hmm.
I rose to a level in society where now I'm in the position of giving it back to people. So today, I might be an example for other people, and I might have brought a change in mindset, a positive thing for next generation. But at that particular time, it was not that certain. So
Right.
what I want to say here is, if you feel that you have conviction in something, just put yourself onto one test, and the test shall be intentional harm. If your action brings intentional harm to any creature on this earth, it might not be the right path.
Mm-hmm.
But if it does not go into that direction of harming anybody, then it is your path. Even if there is no precedence, you must follow your heart, do it,
Wonderful.
excel in it, and give it back to the society in a positive fashion.
Oh, wonderfully stated. You know what? It goes without saying that you are the true example of a motivational speaker. I feel like going out and doing something fantastic right now. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. Listen, for all of our listeners who want to follow you, who want to find out more about you and connect with you, do you want to tell us how we can get in touch with you? Tell us about anything you have that you want to share that might be coming up.
Yes. I am on Instagram at Tulika underscore 14. So the spelling of my name is TOOLIKA, Tulika underscore 1414. That's my Insta handle. I'm also on Facebook with the same name that you see on the screen, Toolika Rani. My Facebook page as well as my profile is there. And you can follow me on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn also, again, I am with the same name, Toolika Rani. I have my rank in front of it, squadron leader. That's my military rank. So
Oh,
these are the social media places where you can follow me. Plus, there is a book coming out, which is written by me about my Mount Everest expedition and the insights that I have gained out of it. The narration is there, so the adventure and thrill of a Mount
wonderful.
Everest expedition and what all goes wrong and how a person deals with it is there. As well as there is something about the Sherpa culture because they are the people who are the real heroes on Mount Everest. They
Hmm.
are a tribe, they're ethnic people who live at the base of Mount Everest in Nepal. And they're a community who are closely associated with the climbing business. So I have given a glimpse into their beautiful culture also and their aspirations and struggles. So this book would be titled Beyond That Wall, Redemption on Everest. Because we all have this kind of a wall within us, which
Mm-hmm.
stops us from going forward at one point of time. So
Yes.
that is why I have chosen this title, Beyond That Wall. We all must strive to, to work in order to be able to see what lies beyond that wall, which we all have within us. So
Wonderful.
this is one book. My YouTube channel is also there. The title is Striving Higher, Squadron Leader Toolika Rani. So Striving Higher, this YouTube channel is there. So these are some platforms where you can reach out to me. My email ID is tulich83 at the rate gmail.com.
Wonderful. Well, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to spread your wisdom and share your experiences with our teens and their parents. This has been a wonderful episode. I cannot thank you enough. So please, to our listening audience, follow Tulika, subscribe to her YouTube channel. Look out for her book. She is a motivational speaker. So if you have an engagement coming up, I would highly recommend her. She has wonderful experiences to share. So I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in to this episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Express yourself well and live life. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Please follow Kids More Sugar on social media. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel to show that you support this content. And you can visit our website at kidsmoresugar.com to learn more about our free online kids program. Thank you.